what struck me in the first reading in particular is we have this vision. We see Paul. Now we know Paul being a Pharisee, and being a Pharisee, he was a stickler on the law, the Torah, and all that went along with that, all the precepts and all the understandings of what a good Jew was. And he persecuted Christ's followers until Christ revealed himself. God knocked him off his horse, so we have the story, and all was revealed to him. And he became a believer. He was so much a believer that he went out as zealously as he did in persecuting Christians. He went out proclaiming the good news. Now, in the early church, there was a lot of things going on, very unstructured, and there was a lot of baggage that Paul was carrying. And the Jews who were now Christians knew him. They didn't trust him because of his past actions. And when he meets the other apostles, they go, yeah, I don't know. Can we really trust this guy? Is he going to turn us in? Is he going to persecute us? We feel that way sometimes, don't we, with our friends. Yeah. And unfortunately with some parts of the church where we feel rejected and not accepted. We're not understood. We're not respected in who we are and who God has made us. And we come to our friends sometimes, and because maybe we lost our job, or we're on the outskirts of society more than we were before, all of a sudden we're less than who we were. And that's not Christian. That's not what Christ professes. In the gospel reading today, we hear, I am the vine, you are the branches. And with Christ, we grow. We grow in knowledge. We grow in spirituality. We grow in love. And that great commandment that Christ gave us, that we must love one another. If we don't love one another, we're going to be pruned. We're going to be cut off. The history of our Jewish brothers and sisters is one very vexing. They're with God for many years, and then things happen, they forget. All of a sudden, they forget the love of God. And God says, hey, wake up. I'm going to do something so you can understand what's going on. Get hauled off to Babylonia. They're enslaved in Egypt. Maybe, even in our time, God talks to us in ways that if we truly love one another, and if we follow the precepts that Christ gave us, that we love God with all our heart, with all our soul, with all our mind, our whole being, and by virtue of that love of God, we then can love one another as we love ourselves. Then we're in right relationship with God. And God blesses us. Now, sometimes we don't know that God's blessing us. Okay? We have obstacles in our life with ailments and disabilities and anger sometimes. Why am I being put through all this? Why is God allowing this to happen? How's God talking to me through these experiences? Because you know, I think God talks to us constantly in various ways. Sometimes we feel that connection. We feel God's presence. Sometimes we don't. most of the time, if we fall away and we're filled with anger or despair, it's hard for us to feel God's presence. But God's presence is always there. The Holy Spirit is always talking to us. Sometimes we have to endure trials and tribulations. Sometimes we have to endure hardships in our lives. Relationships sometimes fall apart. And we say, why would that happen? I can attest to that. I've had issues with relationships in the past. And I think that, I'm a pretty good person. I try to be good to my neighbors, and I try not to put myself too high. But why would you allow me to feel this pain, this anguish? I don't think we have to take the example of Job. Job had many things that were brought up in him, but he never lost faith. Even his wife said, hey, give it up. Give it up. He doesn't. Constantly lost faith. Maybe that's our challenge. Even in the midst of our pain and anguish and those moments of despair and those issues that we have, that we never lose faith, but rather draw strength from that. We're told that we should take up the cross, take up our own crosses, bear them. I remember years ago, in my formative years, where my dad said, and my dad was a very religious person, and he said, Tom, we have to understand that through our own sufferings, we share Christ's sufferings. We can feel a little bit of akiness to the suffering that Christ felt on the cross. And by bearing that, by willing to accept the fact that there are difficulties and illnesses and agonies that we have, pain, we can share in that cross. As a young kid, I didn't understand what kind of anxieties or pain that I had as a kid. But as an adult, definitely, I have had those pains, those anguishes. But God is always there. Whether we want to acknowledge that fact or not, God is always there. That image we have, that of God pruning, is an image that I think that some of our brothers and sisters in other faith traditions try to use that as a weapon. It's not a weapon. Not a weapon at all. Rather, it's an invitation. It's an invitation to say, make yourself right with me. Make yourself right with God. But we have to acknowledge the fact that if we do choose to make that grave sin of denying the Spirit, denying God, there's not much hope for us. But God, constantly, no matter what's going on in our life, God finds a way to get in there and starts talking to us again. All we have to do is listen. Now I like to talk about that image of conversation with God. That just like we have conversations with one another, and after Mass we'll probably chat a little bit and get to know one another. God says, let's chat. Let's talk a little bit. And that chat, that talk is prayer. Whenever we sit down and we quiet ourselves, then we can hear God speaking. Not in a voice necessarily, but an emotion, as a sense, as the Holy Spirit awakening in our mind something new. Something that maybe we haven't thought about. That's chatting with God. Just like Adam and Eve in the garden. They're walking, talking with God in the garden about various things. And God does that to us in our everyday life. God does walk and talk with us. Can't see it. Can't put hands on it. Except when we sacrifice from Moses, we put our hands on that. We have to find ways of reconnecting. And we have to find ways of being like Paul, and being zealous in our faith. When you leave this building today, having been nourished by the Holy Eucharist and hearing the Word of God, allow yourself time to contemplate. It's a quiet time. With all the noise, all the white noise in our lives. Just sit and chat with God. Hey, God. Let's talk. Maybe it's been a little while since we've done that. Real done. Let's do it. It's like when you're talking to your parents or your brothers or your sisters, or cousins, aunts, and uncles. God's family. God is your baptism. We are not part of that family. Christ is our brother. It's really easy to reach out to a brother and say, hey, let's talk a little bit. Maybe we've had our differences in the past. Maybe we didn't agree on all things. But let's love one another.